Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Don Jo number CFK71-630. This is a 4x16 stainless push plate that's going to have a preparation in it for a lock. It's not a cylinder in the sense that the diameter of the hole in this is 2 1/8. So this would be a plate that you're going to use when you are installing a deadbolt through it, is the bottom line. Okay, so that's where you're going to see this. Very commonly, you're going to see this in restroom applications of public facilities like a park district or a school or any sort of application where you've got a door and you probably have push and pull hardware or a push plate with a deadbolt. It could be a double acting door as well, where you have 2 push plates, but you do lock up that double acting door. It could be a kitchen application, not in a path of egress, where this is locked. And that's a typical lock preparation. It's a 2 1/8 inch hole. They have those half circle preparations. They're usually only done at, they're always done at 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Why they're at 12 and 6, I'm not really sure. But a cylindrical lock will require these preparations. So if you were to be putting some sort of a cylindrical lock through here, you could. And in reality, you very likely might be. You might have an application. I've sold this certainly to people where they've been installing a lock in that hole, and that lock might be a mechanical combination lock or some lock that's going to occupy this space, or it won't, and you're using the rest of the plate to cover holes, or you're using the rest of the plate that you will drill your function holes through. Okay, so if you put a deadbolt in it, it'll probably look like this, but it doesn't have to, but it probably will. Deadbolts are a little bit higher. Locks are a little bit lower as well. Deadbolts are generally about 48 inch off the finished floor, or certainly not to exceed that for compliance with A117.1. But, you know, the bottom line is, however you're going to use this, it's all fair. Because this just happens to be a 4 inch wide by 16 inch tall plate that has this preparation at about 2 1/4 from the end of the plate, right in that range. Okay, and of course it's going to be centered in the plate as well, so that should be right at 2 inch, and it is. Okay, this is 50 thousandths thick. This peel away, this white surface you see is just a peel away protective film that's on the plate covering the brushed stainless steel. And this plate is 50 thousandths of an inch thick, which is the typical thickness for standard protection plates. As an aside, if it was a fire-rated door, this is not a UL listed or labeled product for use on fire-rated doors. It would it would be disqualified from being installed onto a door. Why, you ask? Well, you know, obviously having a piece of steel isn't necessarily going to make the door, a piece of stainless steel on the door, make it more flammable. But what it does is it increases the potential fuel load on the door. And it's simply not been tested. A fire door has not been tested with this on it, and that would be the answer. The answer to that, why it wouldn't be used. It's not been tested. Why you can't use it. So this is their Series 71 plate type with the CFK option. CFK stands for that 2 1/8 inch hole. Okay. All holes are 2 1/4 on center from the end of the plate as standard, but can be varied. If you wanted them to move that somewhere else, they'll be able to do that. There sometimes is an additional charge, sometimes there isn't, depending on what exactly it is that you're changing. A relocation of center line, I don't believe, is going to incur a charge. It's going to include 6 by 5/8 oval head sheet metal screws. Okay. There are 6 screws, as there are 6 holes. Now let's switch to the camera view. And let's switch to the screen view and take a look at the documents that are listed here down below. Okay, so this is the item that we're looking at, and we have a cut sheet. Let's look at that first. That's just a page right from the manufacturer's catalog. That's going to tell us the other finishes that are available. 605 for polished brass, 606 satin brass, 612 satin bronze, 613 oil rub bronze. Those will all be a brass base material. 629 and 630 will be polished stainless and satin brushed stainless over stainless steel. Then the last one is clear anodized aluminum over an aluminum base material. So it'll be anodized aluminum. Okay. Now the next page that we have is the template that will give us all of the dimensional properties of this item that we are looking at. Okay. Gives you the location of the screws, should you need to know that. Does indeed show it with the hole at the top. Can certainly be flipped over like we discussed earlier. Again, mentions the finishes that are available. Then there's a link to the product catalog, and that's handy because it will allow you to review all of the possible plate variations from Don Jo. So if we get to the page where we can see the 71 series plates, which is page 1B, and we'll scroll down to 1B, and here we are. So the point is, with the 71, as the part number changes, so does the size. Okay, so if you ordered a 71, you're getting a 4x16. If you said, no, I want one a little bit bigger, 6x16 is a good choice. You would order a 72. Okay. Lists your base materials. Lists the fact that you have 4 beveled edges. Okay, so you are able to safely swipe your hand across the edge of that because they've taken, not that you would do that, but which I would encourage you not to go about swiping your hand against the edge of stainless steel, but this does have beveled edges, and it is rendered to a point where it's basically not going to harm you by installing it or using it in its intended purpose. Options, you can do radiused corners. They can do a round corner on here should you want. You can do custom sizes because there's really nothing different between this and a kick plate. So they'll cut this any size you want. But these would be the standard sizes that you would find. A 3x12 you would use, the only time we sell 3x12 is when someone has a pair of French doors and they have very small stiles on the doors. Okay, so that's where you would definitely see that. Torx mount screws, Torx screws. Definitely consider Torx screws if you are installing it in that public bathroom scenario. You can do adhesive tape as well. A lot of clients don't want to have to drill a hole in the door, or they can't for whatever reason, and there are reasons that you can't. You may not be able to pierce into what you would otherwise drill to. So adhesive mount is available. Magnetic mount is also available. Engraving can be done if you want push engraved on here, or something else. Hole cutouts available, obviously with the CFK option. That's what we're dealing with here. CFK. So this is a CFK71 specifically. Okay. So as those letters change, we're doing a CFK, and in Don Jo speak, that means 2 1/8. So a CFC is 1.25 inches. CFD is 1.5 inches. CFK is 2 1/8. CFL is the 2 1/8, but will have a lever prep. So if you were going to take the concept, flip it over, and you wanted holes for your lever lock at 12/6 or at 10/5, where whoever's lock you're using, they can prep that. We'll obviously need to know whose lock you're using for that. The balance of the product catalog is very handy because it will allow you to review all of the products that would be considered flat goods. Door pulls, push and pull plates. When I say flat goods, I imagine that in the catalog, in this catalog, there are kick plates, but perhaps not. So just push and pull plates, push plates, pull handles, etc. They have a separate section for ladder pulls as well. So let's, since we've exhausted the links that are here, let's finish up this video on camera. Now You may have noticed earlier that there was a link to the manufacturer's page. Pulling up the link to the manufacturer's page will allow you to review all things Don Jo related that we sell, a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you know the name Don Jo at all, you probably do so for their U-shaped door reinforcing wraparound plates or latch protectors. But you'll see from all of the individual sections of their catalog that they provide a lot more than just those two primary line items, such as modified push plates, ladder pulls, hinges, accessory hardware like signage. They have filler plates for use in steel doors and steel frames, and a number of other items. They are a nifty little company, meaning they're by no means little, but a nifty little company that they're not owned under a corporate umbrella, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but they're nimble. The rare occasions that they make an error, they make it good in almost all instances immediately. And they do a good job at supporting their product line. Generally, when you call there, the person that answers the phone is the person who's trained and equipped to solve the problem. So you get right to the source immediately. If you have any questions on the Don Jo CFK71 in a 630 finish or any other Don Jo product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.